There's been very few positive headlines coming from West London as of late, but one is, however, they do have a 2-goal advantage over the French side, but there's so much noise around the Blues off the pitch at the minute, including how they're even going to get to the game itself. Here's a look at what Thomas Tuchel had to say about that.
No, my last information is that we have a plane, but and we can go by plane and can go back by plane. If not, we go by train. If not, we go by bus. If not, I drive a 7-seater, honestly. And I will do. Yeah, you can mark my words. I will do. I will arrive there. I mean, if you ask me like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, if I would join a Champions League match at the sideline and what I was willing to do, I would say, okay, when do I have to be where? And why should this change? I will be there and we will be there.
Well, Jimmy, Tuchel doing his very best to handle the press there, but it's got to be so incredibly difficult for him to prepare his team for a game like this, given the circumstances that the Blues find themselves in.
In some ways, yes, Poppy. I think that there's so much noise around the team and what's happening, and probably a lot of questions that players can't answer, even from family and friends, and I think that can be a distraction. But I also probably think it's a welcome distraction for a lot of these players, that they can go focus. They can just get on with it and play the 90 minutes and look forward to an opponent and kind of get back to what feels normal, preparing for big games, which is what Chelsea like to do in this current iteration. But I love how Thomas Tuchel's been handling this whole situation. It's been pretty intense, and I think he's handled it with total class. Now, if you remember, leg one, that was 2 days. When this game happened in leg one, when 2-0, Christian Pulisic scored the second one on N'Golo Kante, did all the work in that one. 2 days later, Russia invaded Ukraine. So lots happened at Chelsea Football Club since that went down. But when we talk about this game in particular, Lille have only lost twice in all competitions at home this season. This is not going to be an easy game. And they've gotten 7 out of 9 points in domestic form since this game as well. So they're coming into it playing pretty well, all things considered. We probably want to see more from Jonathan David, who was a little quiet, the Canadian international, in leg one. Timo Weah didn't even get off the bench. It looks like Renato Sanchez will be hurt in this one, so we could see Timothy Weah taking on Christian Pulisic. That would be great from an American perspective, especially because we got some big games coming up for World Cup qualifying. But when I look at Chelsea overall, Thomas Tuchel, they're the defending champs of the Champions League. They know how to win in this competition. He loves to prepare for this type of stuff. And from a betting perspective, in the 15 games that Thomas Tuchel has coached in the Champions League with Chelsea, 12 of them have been under 2.5 goals. And I think we're going to see something tight in this one as well, because they don't need to go win it. We saw it very similar between Liverpool and Inter Milan, where Liverpool had the 2-goal lead in the first leg and didn't need to go win that second leg. And so they were a little bit more pragmatic, a little more cautious in their approach. And I think we're going to see the same thing with Chelsea. And I just don't think this Lille team can score 2 goals against a team that's this organized defensively.
Definitely. They have changed also sometimes, Jimmy, their formation. We've seen lately Tuchel changing the situation from 3 defenders to 4, making a 4-3-3. Something that probably in the beginning of the season, even seeing what they did last year, winning the Champions League with that formation, is something that we were not expecting. But because of the injuries, because of the situation they've been having, COVID and so on, they have decided to maybe change it because of the player he had on hand. Also, I would like to mention that what you said about managing, Tuchel was mentioning, how he managed this situation. It's not something easy to try to keep focus all your players after all the situation is happening in the club. And he has done it very well with this, some of the questions that they ask him in some moments, difficult moments, and he managed to control himself, even lost sometimes the situation because it's difficult for him as well, and he managed very well. He tried to keep all the pressure from the players and try to focus them on the pitch. And well, the results are continuing there. You can see that Chelsea is still playing, still competing, and that's something very important that hopefully they can continue, because at the end of the year, haven't done anything wrong, and people sometimes forget about that. Players have done anything wrong. They are trying to play, they are trying to entertain people and try to get results. That's a lot of pressure what they have to do. And well, tomorrow probably they're going to have Gubenek. He's going to try to put a good competitive team. Renato, I think, is going to be a key player. Definitely, he's not going to be 100%. He was the most important player, I think, in the first leg. He's the one who can bring the ball from the back going forward. And up front with Davies and maybe Ben Arfa, that he's been also involved in the last couple of games, we can see the best of him. I think he was a very impressive player who played here in Spain, played also in Premier League, and he definitely was very exciting at the moment, trying to get back to the rhythm of the competition. But still, I think that they are favorites. Chelsea are favorite to go through because they got just too much.
Yeah, I'm with you, Lucho. When I'm looking at this Lille side, obviously, we look at Jonathan David as being the answer for them to try and get goals, and they do score goals, and they have been scoring goals, and they found a bit more consistently. Certainly defensively, they've been impressive. They've had 3 clean sheets since they played Chelsea last time out, and they've had some big games in that run as well. So domestically, things are working out a little bit better for them. Jonathan David has been sensational, obviously, since he's arrived at the club. It's a big price tag for such a youngster, a North American youngster in particular. 32 million he was brought into the club. But this campaign in particular, 17 goals across all competitions from him is a very, very good return. I want to see him step up now. If he's fit and he's ready to go, I want to see him step up now when it comes to this game. If Lille score an early goal in this matchup, it's very, very much game on. And this could get very interesting very quickly indeed. I'd like to see them get that early goal. But of course, to do that, you've got to break down Chelsea somehow, because they're not only this offensive team that loves to play football, that have wonderful, talented players like a Timo Werner, Kai Havertz. We also know Lukaku likes to score goals every now and again, certainly of late. But I think that the man who has really stood out to me more than anything else has been Mendy. Mendy, the goalkeeper, has completely changed the fortunes of Chelsea Football Club when it comes to success, especially in this competition. He has been sensational since he arrived. Now going back to France, let's not forget where he came from, to Chelsea. He's now going back there. And this is a massive game for him, a massive occasion for him. I brought down a stat for you. Since he's arrived at Chelsea, 77 games he's played in, and he's had 42 clean sheets. It's just unbelievable. So if you can break that down and find a way to beat Mendy or beat Chelsea's backline and get that early goal, it will be game on. If not, see you later, Leo.